Hey guys, what's happening? Today is June 6th, 2019. It is 1:43 p.m. Central Standard Daylight Standard Time. Uh, I just want to speak briefly. What was that? I just want to speak briefly uh, about the new miniseries on Netflix, When They See Us. It is an adaptation of the 1989 Central Park case. And the director of the When They See Us is a sister by the name of Ava DuVernay. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I'm pronouncing your name, and if I'm not pronouncing that last name correctly, I apologize, sister, and I apologize to anyone out there who thinks I botched her last name, Ava DuVernay. She's the director of the movie When They See Us. It's a Netflix miniseries that was premiered or aired on May 31st, 2019. So I want to talk just briefly a little bit about the 5 suspects that were falsely accused of raping, assaulting a white female jogger in Central Park in 1989. And the suspects are Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, Yusuf Salam, Raymond Santana, and Corey Wise. I haven't seen the miniseries. I will definitely check it out. But I'm somewhat familiar with the case because I've watched the documentary that was released in 2012, and then I did research too. I researched here and there, and I learned a little bit more about the case. But it's very unfortunate what happened to these young brothers, five black males and one Hispanic male, but they're all black to me. You could look at him and you see, I mean, his skin, he's a black man. You wouldn't even say he's Hispanic by just looking at him. And, but anyway, I digress. But it's very horrific that these 5 men lost years of their lives that they would never get back. No sort of money would make up for that, even though I know they were awarded $41 million by the city of New York, $41 million for false imprisonment. And it was also very unfortunate that the lady, she went through that. What was her name again? I know I wrote it down here somewhere. Trisha Malley. So she's also a victim, in this. And what happened to her was very horrendous. It never should have happened. And like I said, it's very unfortunate that, that these men, these 5 black men, did time in prison for a crime they didn't commit. They all served anywhere from 6 to 14 years. And I think Corey was the one that he basically did 10 years. He did more time than the rest of them. The original verdict was 5 to 10 to 5 to 15 years in prison. And like I said, the convictions after the convictions were that person would each of the 5 suspects would serve anywhere between 6 and 14 years. And in 2002, a man by the name of Matthias Reyes, or Matthias, I think it's Matthias, I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He confessed to actually committing this crime, to attacking this woman, Miss Trisha Bally. And there's DNA evidence to prove his guilt, to prove that he was the actual attacker and rapist, which exonerated these 5 brothers because they, like I said, they were wrongly accused. And prior to them being convicted, the FBI compared the evidence, the DNA evidence from the rape kit, and compared it to the DNA collected from the 5 suspects. And it was proven that none of these suspects' DNA matched the DNA evidence from the rape kit itself. Also, the evidence that was collected from the crime scene, the evidence there was also tested against the DNA from the 5, the so-called, or the 5 suspects. And none of the DNA evidence collected from the crime scene matched the DNA evidence from the 5 suspects. But they were still accused, still convicted and sentenced. There's an overzealous prosecutor by the name of Linda Fairstein. Linda Fairstein. Overzealous prosecutor. She was the assistant prosecutor for the New York Southern District, I guess. But she was a very overzealous, opportunist prosecutor. And she built a case off of this, just that alone, this case alone. She's written numerous books, so many books, and now she's getting so much backlash on social media. She's been forced to step down. I guess she was like a trustee on a board of trustees at this university. There have been many petitions filed, or many people have. They basically want her to. They want her books to be removed, which I believe they should be removed. I don't think she should be able to sell any of those books, any more books, and make any more money, gain, have any type of monetary gain from the Central Park 5 case. Because there were evidence. They were telling her that the evidence did not match up, but she convicted anyway. There were cops in the NYPD that were complicit as well, and they harassed, they coerced them boys, they beat them, they threatened them into confessing. So there was so much, it's just a huge batter of miscarriage of justice, and the people, these so-called professionals, they have to pay for this shit, man. Even though it happened 30 years ago, they were complicit in ruining these boys' lives. And it's sad to say, it still happens to this day all across America. We got these overzealous prosecutors and cops and politicians that frame innocent black people or poor people across this country, and they build their careers off the backs of poor people, black people. So it's sad. It's sad, and I commend that sister for coming up or directing this documentary series. And she did some extensive research, Miss Ava DuVernay. She's been researching for years. She said that she was 8 years old in 1989, when the case took place. She was 8 years old, but she was compelled to really dig deep into that story and just do some research. And she did for years. She just researched. She even spoke to, I guess she reached out to former prosecutor Linda Fairstein, and asked her if she wanted to be part of the miniseries. She wanted to interview her too. But I guess according to Miss Ava uh, uh, DuVernay, she said that Linda Fairstein wanted to have pretty much control over the project. She wanted to have control of the project. She wanted to basically have total control of the script of the miniseries, which Miss Ava herself, she refused to allow Miss Linda to have full control of the script. And so I guess that's when she decided she didn't want to be part of the project, because she knew she would not have full control of that script. And Miss Ava herself said that she reached out on numerous occasions to get an interview from Miss Linda Fairstein, but she declined the invitation, I guess. I'm just looking at my notes, I'm sorry. So I already talked about, they were coerced into confessing. Like I said, the FBI did an extensive, thorough testing of the evidence from the rape kit, the DNA evidence from the rape kit, as well as the DNA evidence collected from the 5 suspects. And the FBI concluded that there was no matchups. You cannot match the DNA. Those boys' DNA to the DNA collected from the scene or from the rape kit. Also, the suspects said that hair samples were collected by the police, by detectives, blood samples, saliva. Also, their clothing was collected. And Yusef himself, I was watching an interview. I guess they were doing Vlad? Was it Vlad, or was it Vlad or NBC this morning? NBC Morning. I think it was with Vlad. But Yusef Salaam, he said that they collected, detectives, they collected blood sample, hair sample, saliva. Also collected their clothing. And he said there were so many holes in his clothing because they were trying to find a speck of blood. They said the crime scene was so horrific because what they were saying is that Miss Trissa, the blow that she received to the head, basically she bled. Profusely. There was so much blood at the crime scene, but they found no blood. There was no trace of blood on any one of the any of the suspects' clothing. And Mr. Yusef himself, Yusef Salaam, he said that there were so many holes poked in his clothes, man, because they were so eager to find any trace of blood, which they were unsuccessful in doing so. And I'm just glad that those brothers were later, found to be innocent, and they were exonerated. Their convictions were vacated, but the years they lost, they can't get that back, man. And there's no amount of money in the world that would make up for that. The $41 million, it makes their lives comfortable, I guess. Who knows? Maybe their lives would have been, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't have the money they have now. But still, that's no reason. That's not cool. For them to lose those years of their lives, that money won't make up for it. And then maybe their lives would have been a hell of a lot better now had they not gone through what they've gone through. Who knows? I don't know. But still, it's wrong. And that shit is still happening all across this country. Now, I wanna talk a little bit more about the victim, Miss Tricia Malley. Now, she has benefited greatly since this unfortunate incident took place in '89. She's gotten book deals. She's did interviews. She's gotten paid. She's gotten paid. Okay? And like I said, what happened to her was horrendous, very unfortunate. According to Yusuf, he was saying that she refused to reach out to them. And they tried to reach out to her. She refused to reach out to them. Even finding out, even after the evidence proved that they were innocent, she still don't want to have anything to do with those boys or these men. Because according to him, according to Yusuf Salaam, he's saying that she still believes the cops, the crooked cops, the crooked prosecutors. And she even befriended some of these crooked ass detectives and the prosecutor. She's cool with Miss Linda Fairstein. They're cool. They're making money together. They're both selling books, and they're benefiting from this. You understand? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. So what happened to her was very unfortunate, but I think she's wrong because she has not attempted to reach out to them boys. They've tried to reach out to her. I keep saying boys because they were young men at the time. They were boys. They were kids. So I still view them as kids, man. Because there was an innocence that they could never get back. An innocence that was violated. But yeah, she should definitely reach out to them, man, and hear their side, and because the actual perpetrator was caught. He confessed. Even though he confessed after the statute of limitation ran out, but he confessed nonetheless. And the DNA evidence collected from him and the DNA evidence collected from the crime scene matched up. And his story corroborates the crime scene, what had happened, what he did, what he used, where he threw the keys and the shoes, because he, according to Mr. Yusuf Salaam, he said that according to Mr. Matthias, the rapist, Reyes, he threw one shoe that way and the other shoe the other way, and he threw her keys that way. So when he confessed, Mr. Matthias Reyes confessed and said, yeah, he did all these things. So basically the detective was like, oh shit, okay, yeah, we did find the keys over here, the one shoe over there, another shoe over there. We found a brick with the blood on it, and there was fingerprints on that. So he knew the crime scene. Mr. Matthias Reyes described the crime scene to the T. So that's how he was that is the only way those boys were, exonerated because of that. At first they refused, the authorities refused to listen to his story, to Mr. Reyes' story, to his confession. They would not accept his confession because that would make them look bad, like very incompetent. That means they did a bad job. They convicted, falsely accused and falsely convicted 5 innocent boys. So they don't want to look incompetent. Because believe me, a lot of these prosecutors and detectives and politicians, they made their careers off of this single case. And even the alleged, or not, I'm gonna say alleged victim, even the victim herself, she benefited from it. Even though the situation was very horrendous, her life would never be the same. She's richer because of it. The boys there's young men, they're richer too, but still. We have 6 victims here, the 5 men and the actual victim herself. But I think she needs to reach out, man. She really needs to reach out to them and hear their side, and they all need to heal together. It has to be some healing all across the board. So, and there's a bunch of opportunists. They're using it to their advantage, man. So and if she meets with them, I guess it would probably, in her mind, it would hurt her book deals, because like I said, she's written books, she's done speaking engagements, and she's I guess part of this movement, I guess, to She's a motivational speaker, so that wouldn't go over with a lot of her followers if she, I guess, if she reached out to these young men and you know, you know, and I don't know. Maybe she don't like black people either. I wouldn't put it past her. I wouldn't be surprised if come to find out that uh, Miss Trissa Malley is a racist. And I mean, prior to this incident, she probably didn't like black folks. And I definitely don't think Miss Linda Fairstein likes black people. You could just look at her; she looked like a goddamn racist. And I want to talk a little bit about a former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Oh, he jumped on a bandwagon too. Oh yeah, he jumped on a bandwagon. He condemned them boys. Oh, he jumped on that. Oh yeah, calling them predators and rapists, and imposing stricter and more tough penalties and punishments for these boys. We got the President Trump, who was at the time, he took out $85,000 newspaper ads condemning the boys, calling for stricter penalties or punishments. He basically wanted to bring back the death penalty. He wanted those boys dead. Trump, racist ass Trump. I'm not gonna call him President Trump. I'm just gonna say racist ass Donald Trump, who is sitting in the Oval Office as we speak. Oh, he wanted the boys dead, calling them super predators, and they should be dealt with, they should be killed, blah blah blah. They should get strict, they don't deserve to live. Donald Trump, $85,000 he spent on newspaper. He took $85,000 worth of newspaper ads out, condemning them boys. Oh, and Clinton too, Hillary, super predators. Yeah, Clinton, Hillary, she jumped on that bandwagon too. Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton too. Clinton, Bill Clinton, all of them. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't trust people like Hillary, Bill, Joe Biden, his crime bill. Huh? What was that, the 93, 94 crime bill? And these people, come on, man. Black folks, wake up. Wake up. These so-called liberals, these so-called Democrats, they don't like us. They don't care for black people. The only difference between them and the ultra-conservatives or the right-wingers or the alt-right is that the alt-right, the ultra-conservatives, they let you know they don't like you because you're a nigger. We ain't nothing but niggers to them. They'll let us know. And whereas the liberal, so-called friends of black people, the Democrats, they come around with smiles and pretend like they're cool with us, want to dance with us, eat a couple of barbecue ribs with us. Do the whatever you call, like the nay or the stanky leg or whatever you want to call it. Want to dance and maybe play a sax for black people every now and then. Posing as our friends. But these so-called liberals, they have passed laws that completely decimated black families, contributed to mass incarceration of black men and women, particularly black men, young black men, in alarming numbers. The Clinton crime bill, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton. Come on, man. So, I'm going to say this in closing. Karma's a motherfucker. The shit y'all have done, the Rudy Giuliani's, the Donald Trumps, the Bill Clintons, the Hillary Clintons, the Joe Bidens, the Kamala Harrison, whatever her name, Kamala Harris. Even Barack Obama. Don't trust none of them, man. They're all in bed together. Even if they look like us, that don't mean they're for us. And a lot of times they send people to look just like us to pull the wool over our eyes, to blindfold us, to blind us, to trick us. So You know, we got the fox and we got the wolves. You know, we got the Donald Trumps and the Giulianis. You know, they're the foxes. I mean, the wolves. Then we got the Hillary Clintons, the Kamala Harrises, and the Clintons and the Obamas. You know, I mean, they are the foxes. So I'm gonna say fuck all of them, man. I don't give a damn. Fuck them all. And Linda Fairstein, go to hell. And all the rest of you, all you cops, dirty ass detectives, and prosecutors and politicians that were complicit in ruining these young men's lives and continue to ruining young men's lives, young black men's lives to this day, or just young black people, period, to this day, all of you could go to hell and burn, baby, burn. Fuck y'all. Peace. I'm gonna wrap it up. Love y'all.